You know, I feel like I've only seen the Leafs score twice against Nashville before. I think you're right. I feel like this one was better, though. Let's go! Give me what I want! Kick down the door! Drew, you are not doing this! Not nice! There's a giant head! You hear yourself? I made like 2,000 of these. I'd like to have fun. With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Victory, Puppy Ziggy! You want to see what Nylander did to Nashville? Yeah, you only fell for it a little. That wasn't as good as I thought it would be. You can get off camera. There you go. Yeah. Nobody hits Morgan Riley in the nose and makes him bleed his own blood! Leafs win! 2-1 over the Nashville Predators. Judging by the reaction after this game, neither fan base happy with the officiating. Now, some of you might look at that and go, well, that means they did a good job. You know what? It might, or it was just bad, man. But I'm not gonna complain about the officiating in a game where the Leafs won, except for later in this video, where I definitely will. First, think you know which way it's gonna go? Will this or won't this be a penalty? They don't have that yet, but it's an idea. Make your bet at Sports Interaction. Before the puck drop, Sports Interaction has you covered before the game, live betting on all major sports and prop bets, and they have an app now. Want to bet? Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN, or the app. 19 plus, please play responsibly. So this has been a bit of a theme this season where there's a number of stories heading into the game, and then the ultimate story of the game ends up not being any of those stories. Because what were we talking about? TJ Brody was placed on IR. That was big. If you're a nerd, you're like, can't wait to see Bobby McMahon. I always get excited for someone's first game. Someone's like, hey, what do you think of Bobby McMahon? And I was like, I forgot he's under NHL contract. He picked the number 74. I'd love to come up with a witty joke. I have no idea who the last Leaf to wear 74 was. You know what? Now I have to look it up. Oh, what? From Leafs PR. Maple Leaf forward Bobby McMahon will make his NHL debut tonight. He'll become the first player in franchise history to wear 74. Okay, they are 100% starting to do this on purpose. Because wasn't Mete the first Leaf to ever wear 98? And I want to say Bunting was the first 58, wasn't he? There's been a bunch on this team. Oh, well, that's satisfying. I like that. Speaking of getting distracted by stories, the big story is Austin Matthews wasn't going to play in this one. Now, it doesn't sound like a serious injury. It seems more like just getting him a little bit of rest. And a question that I was going to save for later, but a few people asked, how long has Austin Matthews been playing hurt? And my answer to that is, well, he started playing professional hockey in Switzerland around the age of 17, so probably right around there. Professional athletes, and definitely hockey players among them, are always playing with something. And there are degrees of injuries, right? There's, I can't go. Like, I physically cannot go. I cannot get out there. Then there's, I probably can get out there, but I'm going to be a shadow of myself and probably shouldn't be out there. Then there's, I'm just suboptimal. But you know what? It's the playoffs and I'm going to battle through it. And then somewhere before A-OK is a little banged up. I think almost every player at almost all times is a little banged up. We already know Matthews was playing hurt this season. I don't think an injury was ever announced, and I don't remember if he missed a game. I don't think he did. But when Jamie Benn just cross-checked him so hard, that wasn't called as well, right in the ribs or right under the ribs, Matthews was in visible pain. And he continued to be in visible pain for the next several games. And he didn't do so good. And we were all like, hey, he's hurt, right? And then he just sort of kept playing and got better, and we forgot about it until today, where he sat out of the game. I am not worried about it. I'll be worried about it when they can shut him down. This is probably the luxury of being second place in the entire NHL, which the Leafs are, and second in their division. They're first place in a 32-team league and second in their own division. They're on a collision course with Tampa, and even better, if Tampa wins all their games in hand that they have on the Leafs, they'll only be 2 points behind them. I digress. Anyway, he's probably a little banged up, but the Leafs, at home on some rest, decided, you know what, we can take this risk. And this is the first half of a back-to-back. I don't know if they announced he's going to miss the back half of the back-to-back as well. Anyway, it's just good to get him rest. Wouldn't be shocked at all to see other guys get rest down the stretch if they continue to be this hot. I mean, they've kind of been doing it with the goaltending all season since both Samsonov and Murray got back. Which, by the way, is a great transition into the story that we weren't talking about. We did not expect to see a goalie duel because Matt Murray had a bit of a speed wobble recently, and then his last game was pretty good. UC Saros, on the other hand, is coming off of a streak where he is carrying the Nashville Predators on his back and had a very famed, I'm sure you heard of it, 64 save win against Carolina, which is dumb. That's dumb. So now all the Leafs have to do in this game is beat the hottest goalie in the NHL without their best player. So, first line is now the second line, and it's Bunting with Engvall and Nylander. Who's the center? I don't know. Depends on the shift. Listen, it's the Leafs. We know what it is. When Matthews is out of the lineup, who has to step up? I could ask anyone in the class right now, and you'll all have a different answer, except your answer will be one of three people. Some of you said the goalie, and that's cheating. It's always the goalie. Those of you who were not cheating said William Nylander or Mitch Marner or John Tavares. In this game, the Leafs got big performances from all three. And all three, at different times in this game, played on the same line. There was a little bit of bench management from Sheldon Keefe, who is still not in the Jack Adams conversation. Can someone explain why? There are a couple close calls, and Nylander loses it, and the Preds get it, and then they try to break out of their zone, and Marner almost gets it, and the Preds are on their heels. They're a little worried, so Liljegren takes advantage, and while the Preds are trying to burst out the other way on the counterattack, whacks the puck back the other way to William Nylander. And the Preds are caught off guard. So off guard that Alexandre Carrier is on, he's trying to do a crossover here and he sort of stumbles. Nylander breaks in and he knows he's got Tavares with him. And the Preds don't, apparently, because there are three of them just staring at William Nylander. And, I've stood next to him in person. I get it. But not when it's your job to stop him. He almost looks like he's going to shoot and changes his mind when he sees just how open Tavares is. But he loses the handle on the puck. But it wasn't flying, it was falling with style. Puck goes to Tavares anyway, who whacks it in 1-0 from the captain. The Superline scores. Sheldon Keefe high-fives his assistants. We did that. And the Leafs, who outshot the Preds 15-10 in the first period and looked like the better team, head into intermission with the lead. That's nice. Really, the only blip of the whole thing was their first power play, which was probably the worst power play in human history. Obviously, the worst power play is, if you get scored on. I've seen teams get scored on multiple times on the same power play. But not counting those ones, this was the worst power play in human history. Absolutely terrible. Which might explain the officiating later in the game, because the refs were like, well, we don't want to hurt you. Yeah, he hooked you, but do you really want to do that again? Early in the second period, really the Leafs' biggest blip in this one, a lot of people were assigning blame. I watched this 100 times. I think it's just a big miscommunication, and everyone looks dumb. I think it's okay to blame three people, and you can dole out the percentages as you see fit. William Nylander is in the Leaf zone. Justin Hall is there with his D partner, Morgan Rielly. They are not terribly familiar with each other. Even though they've been on the same team for a long time, they've almost never played with each other. Mostly because every time they've tried it, it stunk. But last game, it was pretty good. Leafs try to clear the puck up the wall. Morgan Rielly tries to chase the puck. It ends up being a terrible read. That's on him. But I think part of the reason he goes, well, I'll at least try, is he sees two people back there, Justin Hall, and there's a forward, Nylander. Which leads to this, and Justin Hall hilariously and comically going, fellas! Nylander loses his man, and Philip Forsberg, to his credit, a disgusting drag on Matt Murray, and that was the only type of goal that was ever going to beat him in this game, because Murray was sharp. I forgot to mention this. He stopped a goal with his butt, and a bunch of people tweeted me, actually, it hit his glove first. The butt! The butt is what stopped it in the end, and that's what I'm choosing to focus on, the butt. But he wasn't able to stop this one. Philip Forsberg might just end up on Steve's hat picks this week. Yikes. So a bit of a mess, but the Leafs do not buckle. Third period, oh my goodness, not low event to say the least. Shots ended up being 16-13 in favor of the Preds, nearly a 30-shot period. And really we can fast forward to the end where all the controversy is. David Kampf is skating backwards to defend, which one does when you're paid to play hockey and do stuff. A Nashville Predators player collides with him and completely knocks him over, which you're not allowed to do. You're allowed to do it if he has the puck. He didn't. He extraordinarily didn't. I'm sure he wished he had it, but he didn't. That's interference. All day it's interference. I seem to remember that being interference in this building several months ago. A few people asked me if this should be a suspension on Nino Niederreiter because he does get David Kampf in the head. I think that's a bit much. If the collision was harder, if there was more of an injury, if it was intentional, I think, yeah. I think this was Nino Niederreiter trying to avoid a collision and failing. That being said, it's still his job to avoid the collision. It should have, at minimum, been a penalty. And there's no penalty, and people are very upset, and Sheldon Keefe is very upset, and hey, he got hit in the head. Concussion spotters call down, and David Kampf goes to the room for a little while. And I'm sorry, we should be able to ask questions. And by we, I mean the crew, such as, hey, how come? What, do you want him to stop the play and have every single penalty reviewed? No, I don't want that. But they did stop the play. They did. It might be arrogant and oversimplifying it to say that the officials could have gathered and watched this over the course of 30 seconds and gotten the call right. It's not. They could have watched this twice for insurance in 30 seconds and gotten the call right. The broadcast had it right away. Like you talk about like the situation room and having to set it up. Just Sportsnet, just Hockey Night. Like just have it up. Just bring it up on an iPad. Get it going. You don't need the headphones. I don't know. Look at it. You don't need to hear it. I know you got to talk to people, but in this situation, no, you don't. You're a big boy. You can make the choice. You see how it's a penalty? All right, call it a penalty. Again, I am not for slowing down the game. I am not for stop and start and stop and start and stop and start. I just hate all these embarrassing incidents with the NHL where you can make the right call without slowing anything down. The whistle was blown. You were chit-chatting anyway. Unless they did see it and just didn't think it was a penalty, which I think might be worse. Anyway, the Preds did not score after that non-call. They almost did had Mark Giordano not yeeted his entire body into the puck to block it. God, I love him. But not long after, dying minutes of the game, Mark Jankowski is in the corner, and so is Morgan Rielly. Which means Mark Jankowski's stick was in the corner, and so was Morgan Rielly's nose. Jankowski pressed X, that's the penalty button, Mike, and he gets Morgan Rielly right in the face. And then the camera goes on Morgan Rielly, and in super slow motion, while he is beginning to bleed from the nose, he says, clear as day, "You're a funny idiot." I don't know why he called him a funny idiot. Maybe he wanted to compliment him and insult him at the same time. But the result was the Leafs got a 4-minute power play. Now, I saw some Predators fans that were upset about that, and how come they got a 4-minute power play? Well, he was hit in the face and bled, you see. Supposed to call a penalty when you get hit in the face and bleed. When it's not your own stick and it is your own blood, you're not allowed. I mean, sometimes when it is your own stick, it gets called, and oh boy, we're bringing up that Tampa series a lot, huh? Anyway, the Leafs go to the power play. Once again, no Austin Matthews. Morgan Rielly and Michael Bunting ending up on the same power play, and it's the first unit this time. But the puck comes to William Nylander, and if you think teams don't know that he is leading the Leafs in scoring, and he has a rocket/laser beam of a shot, allow me to show you that this goal is actually 2 viral TikTok sounds in one. Number 1. William Nylander gets the puck. Where are you going? You're lost, so free, you're literally dog water. Look at all of them! Look at all, and they're wearing bright sea from space yellow. And that's the away jerseys. Oh, forget about Saros, we'll get to Saros. Everyone goes to Nylander, who, for the second time in this game, draws everybody's attention and is like, I think I'll just pass it. He threads the needle beautifully to Mitch Marner, who then gets the puck on his stick. This is what he has to shoot at. I get out of my seat. The entire crowd at Scotiabank Arena gasps. And Mitch Marner, with his hand on his stick, begins to play the entire guitar solo from Freebird, and then watch all 3 Lord of the Rings movies and the deleted scenes. And they shoot it and score. Oh my God. Listen, there's 3 types of fans in that moment. Number 1. Yeah! Number 2. Oh! And number 3. Don't you dare! And he didn't dare. He scored. That goalie's floating in the air. What a goal from Mitch. 18 straight home games with a point, and that's game. Actually, everybody in the crease gotta make a save! Okay, now it's game. Good. Good. We all feel good. And I'm sorry, Matt Murray won a goalie duel, like, pretty equal chances among them goalie duel, equal shots among them goalie duel, against UC Saros, who's one of the best and one of the hottest goalies in the league. Questions. Did the Sens really pay the Leafs to take Matt Murray? They did! They really did. Salary retention and 2 draft picks, including a 3rd round pick this year, and the way that's shaping up, it's basically a late second. Cool! McMahon. Thoughts? Horrible, horrible. He's a monster of a human being. He's even worse in real life than he is scripted, and I think he's gonna hurt the company, he's gonna hurt the product. Wait, which McMahon are you talking about? Oh, Bobby! Oh, what? Oh, Bobby. Bobby's great. I like Bobby McMahon. I hope he gets a few more games. Like, I keep cheering for Dryden Hunt to get his first as a Leaf. I always cheer for someone to get their first as a Leaf. I also like his game. In the intermission, they were sort of talking about the Leafs needing to get a little more grit. He's playing with it. I like the game that he's playing. I want to see more out of Bobby McMahon. He helped generate some semi-chances, and he played with speed and pep. His dad's on the dad trip. That's really fun. I like Bobby McMahon. Play him a little bit more. I mean, dude, rest guys. Rest guys. You're obviously fine. Rest guys and let the other guys play. When you type in LFR tonight, how does it sound like in your head? There's a few different ways. It usually fluctuates like tonight. LFR tonight. But sometimes it's tonight. And other times I like to catch you off guard with it tonight. Hope that helps. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. Brand new Steve Dangle podcast on the STPN channel. I thought it was a very good one that we did today. Go on and check that out.